In this video, we are going to be designing Apple's hero page for the new Vision Pro. Now, a lot of you have seen the Vision Pro making a lot of headlines, but people are not paying reference to the site that actually has most of the marketing, which is the website of the Vision Pro. These glasses cost around $3,000 plus, and in this video we would be designing the hero page to give you a little bit of touch on how the hero page would look like. Also, we are going to be adding and prototyping the hero page to mimic this custom animation that happens when you scroll on the Apple Vision Pro website. So we're here in Figma, and the very first thing I want you to do is to first go back to the website and take a screenshot of that hero page, the page we want to be designing, because we don't want to be going back and forth from the website onto Figma. So let's just take a screenshot. If you're on your Mac, you can use Command-Shift-4 and it brings out a tool for you to just crop. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can get that and drop it onto Figma. Boom. There you have it. And now this is in Figma. Now you can see this is obviously a desktop shape. What we are going to need to do is to use a frame to draw out our layout first, give it some grids, get that initial shaping going for us. So click on your frame here, which is the second icon from your left, or the third one. Yes, click on your frame and you go over to the desktop side of things and then click on desktop. One sec. Once you click on desktop, we're going to click on desktop and you can get this now lovely frame. So you have this blank canvas that you can work with you. Before you start designing, I would advise for you to have some grids and columns. So naturally I follow, like, you know, the Bootstrap 12 column grid. So you want to add those grids to your frame here, to your desktop frame. By doing that, you click on it, as you click on your frame, on your canvas there, and you go to the layout grid. If you click the plus, you see this 8 grid. Click on the icon beside it and change it to column. The number of columns will be 12 columns, and for margins I like using 32. The type I like using stretched, and for the gutter 20. That should be pretty much it. So we have 12, 32, 20 stretch. So these are called the columns, but when I design it, I also add something else called the rows. So, and this just helps me have that spacing consistency vertically and horizontally. So I'm going to click and add another layout grid. This time I'm going to call it row, and I'm going to change this from count. I'm going to make the count 1,000. I'm making the height 8, and then I'm making the gutter 0. So these are just initial things I do every time I want to start, you know, making the design, just to prepare that. What that gives us is now we have both vertical. If you can look well into this, you now have both your columns and your row, and I like spacing my row in 8 spacing, and that's why I have this height of 8. So each nudge I use on my keyboard will give me 8 spacing. That's just for context. Now let's get started. If you really take a look and analyze the Apple Vision Pro, you notice one or two things. First, we have like this double navigation that we're having up here, and then we have like the main image, and then we have like the call to action, which is the watch the guided tour. So I like to structure like the information architecture, knowing what exactly I'll need to recreate. This will help me recreating the perfect kind of design. So what you can just do initially is we can just grab our frame tool. When you're drawing rectangles, please use a frame tool, don't use the rectangle, and we are going to kind of just mimic what we are seeing there, right? So let's mimic that. We can turn off these grids for now. Let's just mimic that. Let's give this any color, add fill to it. Let's just give it any color. So we're trying to just map out the same thing we are seeing there. So these are our double navigation. We know we have that there, and then this entire segment kind of houses where our Vision Pro is going to be, and then we also have the call to action. This is a pretty simple hero page, so it shouldn't be much of a stress. So with this now, you kind of know, hey, if you look at that, they're almost looking similar already, right? You kind of know what to do and how like this page is meant to be structured. But let's get down into the main event for today. By looking at this height, I can kind of tell it's about 80 pixels. So I'm just going to adjust mine to make it 80 pixel, and I can lift the color just from using my color dropper to pick up the color. I'll delete the second one, and let's first start working with this. Now you notice you have the Apple logo and you have some text along with it. So we are going to need the Apple logo icon, a search icon, and also like a cat icon. So go and get those icons. You can just download any icons you want. I already downloaded mine earlier, so I'll bring them into my Figma board. So I just copied my icons and I'll just paste the icons there. So those are my icons, but this is not still complete. If you look, we have the store mark iPad, so we want to get like all of those text, and they're looking like they're an even 16 pixel spacing in between them. So get your text to tap it inside your frame, and let's just kind of get like our navigation going. So I'm going to use nav1. Apple primarily uses the SF font, so we'll go to our font and type SF. Let's say SF Pro Display. That's the navigation one. Let's make it about 16 pixels also, and we'll just duplicate this. You can duplicate by holding Option and dragging. When you duplicate this, then you can make further duplicate by pressing Ctrl D, and it just duplicates your nav. Let's count how many items we have. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So that's about 11 items. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Now I want to put all of this in an auto layout, so it just makes like work a whole lot easier for me. So I'll hold Shift, select all of my menu bars that I've done, click on auto layout or Shift A. That puts it in an auto layout. Come to the auto layout property, 16 pixel spacing in between. That's good. That's what we want, and it's evenly spaced. Now that I've created that, I also want to combine the logo and the other elements into the auto layout that I've created. I love detaching and separating the auto layout just because it is easier if you want to reconstruct or, you know, like separate some elements. So related elements, I group them into their own individual auto layout. So you have this auto layout on auto layout where, but it's not much of a hassle. Select both, hold Shift A, and you can put them in an auto layout also. We can give that 16 pixels, and then we are now going to hold the Apple, hold the second nav element, and hold the three of them, snap them into another auto layout by holding Shift A. And we already have this kind of nicely arranged, but if you notice, like, the spacing is not consistent. Let's just change that to 16 pixels also. So this is what we have, and I know what you're saying now. This is a whole lot different than what we have here, but when we start writing out, let me just bring this a little bit up here. So when we start writing out the items there, our auto layout will just expand to fill in the gap. So that's what I need you to do. You now need to write all of those out. So let's just not waste all the time here. Just write them out and let's continue. Okay. Now that I'm just going to replace that. Now we have all of them written out. Don't forget, this is our first, like, kind of nav. We have two that we're working with. This is the first one. So we want to kind of centralize it just like so. There, you've already done the first step that you need to do. And if we go around it and check, it is 32 pixels. I increased it to 32 while doing it because I felt the 16 were too close. So I made them 32 pixels apart for the spacing. So you might want to do that also, 32 pixels, and it just balances out. So now let's get to the second navigation menu. We can just hold Shift and drag this frame we've already done at first to duplicate it, and it gives us the exact duplicate. I think I'll just bring this on top here. Let me reduce the size so we can see it better. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, so now let's recreate this Apple Vision Pro and the other elements here almost the same way that we did. We don't need this Apple logo there. So change the text here, Apple Vision Pro, and I wanted to use the SF fonts, but I decided to kind of use Inter it really makes no difference. This is just a practical example class, so I didn't want to copy it word for word, so I decided to like put some, you know, source into mine. So I'm using the font Inter, and you can use that also, or the SF font, whichever one you want. But clearly looking at this, you can see that it is kind of bold. So let's make that semi-bold. That works for us. And then we have some other items here, like the overview, guided tour, text specs, and the rest of them. So what we are going to first do, we are going to first get rid of the auto layout here by removing that auto layout. And then you can select some of these elements and just delete them, the ones you do not need. Just delete them. So how many do we have there? Let's get rid of this logo. We do not need the logo. So we have overview. Okay, let's change this to overview. I think that's a capital O. Overview, guided tour, text spec, specs, and then we also have like 2 buttons there. This is interesting. So for the 2 buttons, we can just first start with the text. So book a demo, and we're going to need one more. I think this auto layout is still there. Okay, it's in the frame. Let's ungroup that. So we have book a demo and also buy. So this is looking and it's coming nice. Now let's create these buttons. That's for the buy and the book a demo. We'll start with the buy, and just by selecting the text, sometimes what I like to do is just I can right click and turn it into a frame, right? So I can right click and you can, you know, frame selection, or you can use, I think it is Option Command G, yes, to turn it into a frame. And why I like doing that is if this item is a frame, then I can add some fill on the frame. Oh no, do not do that. Do not do that. I was wrong. Instead of making it a frame, I'm going to make it an auto layout, an individual auto layout. So on the text itself, I'll hold Shift A. That automatically makes this an auto layout, and on that auto layout I can add a fill. Our color is blue. We can just lift that color from here, blue. You can see we are doing well. Our rounded corners, that looks like a little bit about like a 10 or 20. Let's come back to the auto layout properties. For the horizontal, for the vertical spacing, we might make it 4, make it close a little bit, and for the horizontal, I think 8 looks well. Let's go back to our corner radius and kind of smoothen this out to the iOS perspective. That is looking really good. And then we'll do the same for the book a demo. Book a demo. Click on the text, whack Shift A. Shift A puts it in like an auto layout, and then from the auto layout you can add a fill. You can make the corners rounded. Hold on. Make the corners rounded. Smoothen out the corner radius. We're getting somewhere. And if you notice, that is more like a stroke and not a fill. So let's add the stroke and get rid of the fill. And the stroke is white, so that should be FFF. All right, so we're getting there. Corner radius 10. Why are we not getting the corner radius? Oh, hold on. Okay. That was strange. Okay, so now we have the corner radius 10, the vertical spacing, let's just make that 4, and we kind of have that look there. If you look at the overview, because it is what is selected, it kind of has a different color from the text. We can just lift that color by using our color picker. Just make that a little bit gray, and then we have the guided tour and text specs. So let's separate this all into their own auto layouts. Click on them and hold Shift to select all, whack Shift A, a space, make them in the middle, and there, we're getting there. So now you have you're done with your navigation bar, and it's time to move on to like the other segment. So let's now focus on the other internal elements. So there's something you could have done earlier. What you could have done, you could also like change the entire canvas to black and then remove the background from the navigations. But sometimes I like to leave it there, especially if you want to do like a sticky to top kind of interaction. You want that navigation to remain there. This is an image that is, or actually this is a video, and if you check the, where is that? If you check the initial, the main example, this is actually a video. So you can just right click on that video, click save video as, and it saves it onto your system, and then you can bring it in to the Vision Pro. So what I did was, after saving the video, you know what, let's just do it together. To bring in a video, your Figma has to be on professional. That's one thing you need to know. Your Figma has to be on professional for you to bring in a video. So you can basically just take your frame around where you think the video would be, go to fill. Towards this segment, you can see these are for pictures and this is for video, and with the video there, you can now select the video you want to bring into your, I think I have it here, Apple. Let's see, I have it here somewhere. No, that is an old video. Let me see, where is it? Okay, yes, so I have it here. This is the video, and when you open it, boom, that's how you basically get your video in. But you need to be on like a professional plan, and even if you're on the professional plan, this has to be on the Teams side of your Figma for it to work. If not, the video would not work, and if you play the video, it will basically play the interaction you're seeing there. It's taking some time to load up, but it's actually played. So when you play the video, when you put your video there, there are some properties you need to learn about when working with videos. If you go to the prototype, you can see autoplay here. If you want it to start playing automatically when it goes prototype, you can do that, or you can select it off. You can select for it to repeat or not. That is entirely up to you. So at this point, we already have our video in Figma. What I want to do is to change the entire background of my desktop to the black color that actually came with it, which enables our frame to just blend in seamlessly, just like that. We're almost getting there. We still have some work to do. Really not that much, actually. I'm just going to grab this text from here, and I'm trying to make that Vision Pro. You should be able to do this now, so let's just quickly do that. I'm just going to speed past this, as I'm just going to speed past it, as I already have it done. I could break it down for you if you want to know, like, okay, how I was able to do it. Like, this is just basically a text with the Apple logo. This is also a text, but this is an icon. So just to take note of that. And there you have it. We have our Vision Pro Hero page done. Now, let's get into the interesting part, which is making the prototype of what we've been doing. We need to make a prototype out of it. Now, the basic prototype from the page works on a scroll. So it starts when you scroll down and the video just starts playing. There are different ways to go about it, but the first thing we are going to do is we are going to now, I don't think we need this anymore. Let's get rid of it. So we are going to first duplicate. We are going to duplicate our page, and we are going to go to the prototype, and we are going to move it here. So let's just basically see how this prototype would work without anything being done. If you click on the prototype for it to show, let me expand this a little bit. This is how it shows up. So already you're halfway there, but you can notice that like the top is being cut off, the bottom is being cut off, the Vision Pro is still there. In the main one, it went away. So there's some changes we need to do to the second screen. No worries, not a problem. Let's go back to design. First, on the second screen, we want to hide this. Let's hide these items on the second screen, and then we want to expand the frame. Hold shift or hold control and open up that frame. because the picture is going to expand to the capacity the frame is. So just hold command if you're on Mac, or control if you're on your PC, and expand that frame. So let's check our prototype back again. Let's go to prototype. If we check our inbuilt prototype there, let's kind of reload this. So now you're seeing like more aspect of the lady's face is actually showing, and you've not done anything. This is all part of the video. But if I take you back to the website, oops, where is the website? If I take you back to the website, you'll notice some details, and some of the details include when you scroll up, the first navigation goes away and the girl kind of just takes over the screen with the top navigation. So let's replicate that quickly. So what that means is when this video starts, we want, you know, this navigation to go away. So what we can gently do is we can just slide that up. You can hold shift and slide it up. It's still in the frame, but you know, it's not visible. Move this other aspect up a little bit, and let's now expand it by holding control and just expand it a little bit above the text. Now this is whereby putting background on that navigation comes in place, because if we go back to our design, click on that navigation and whack your inverted comma, inverted brackets, or if you can't find that, you can just right click and use move to front. Yeah, so this is the bracket I mean, to move it to front. It's a little bit there. Let's pay a little bit more attention to the prototype. Let's click on our prototype. So this is starting on click. On click, we want it to navigate there. Instead of instant, we want it to be smart animate, so you know it flows in a little bit better. We want it to ease in and out, and let's make this like about 400 milliseconds. Let's see how our prototype is looking. Let's reload that. Okay, we are getting there. We are getting there, but this is starting on click. We do not want it to start on click. We want it to start on scroll. How do you mimic the scroll option? So we are going to mimic the scroll options with, instead of on click, we'll say mouse leave. So that kind of like mimics like the scrolling option, like the mouse leave. So nothing changes there. Let's just restart this prototype. While this is still just playing constantly, is because of we have the autoplay on. So if you click on the video, we don't want this to autoplay. Click on the autoplay, we want it off, and we don't want this to continue looping, so we are going to turn both of them off. And let's kind of reload. So now when you reload it, this is what you have, and we'll kind of mimic scrolling, which is the mouse leaving. That is looking really nice. Yeah, that is looking really nice. That is looking really nice. You can see now this video is still repeating itself. Go back to your prototype, click on your frame there, turn off the autoplay, and it remains like that. So there you have like almost a replica of like the Apple Vision Pro website that you've done. And I know this video is about 20 something minutes long, but hopefully like you're able to take one or two things away from it. I took my time to do some other advanced prototyping on this to make it smoother, and I'll just walk you through the decisions I made while doing that. So what I did now was I created a third other frame, and these are the interactions I used. So I made it mouse enter on my first interaction. So what that basically means is when the mouse is getting into this frame, I want the interactions to start. The very first set of interactions to start is I want this Vision Pro to disappear from me, which is why I removed it in my second frame. And then I have it like about to move in the gentle. I didn't use the ease in or ease out. I used gentle for just a smoother flow. I also reset the scroll position, so it just goes back to the initial position when it has, and I have this at 300 milliseconds for the interaction. While on my second interaction, I put it at like an after delay of about 100 milliseconds, because I did not want like this effect to be just super jumpy, right? So I wanted it to flow somehow naturally. And if I expand this and play out this prototype, this is kind of what we get. Is loading up. So we have this, and once my mouse enters, which kind of mimics the scroll, you have your Apple Vision Pro hero page. And just like that, you have designed your very first, if it's not your first, well, you've learned how to prototype and how to replicate the Apple Vision Pro. Do this, put it online, share it, let me know how your designs go. If you have any questions that you missed, put it in the comment section, and hey, let me know if this brought you any value. And that is how you can easily design the Apple Vision Pro Hero section of the website and add in some custom prototype and animation to make your design look as real as possible. If you gained anything from this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. We have so many amazing videos coming, so make sure you turn on those notifications and click on any of these videos if you want to continue learning and enjoying the entire world of UX design. My name is Destiny, and I'll see you next time.